special pit, Temple of the Damned. And basically the idea is, with Destros, obviously you have, once again, Sappers. This time he's actually going to 2 Zigs, so watch how you do this. To get the 2 Zigs, you take the Sapper, you basically just put it at the corner, like between the two, and there you go. With the Destroyers, your army isn't really meant to do damage. It just kind of never dies. Like, Destroyers, they just kind of never die, you know? I mean, they don't really ever do much damage, but they're always just kind of sitting there, poking away. And on the other hand, Banshees are also about long-term survivability, but they're about absorbing your opponent's damage as opposed to having units that can just take damage. Ted is power leveling his Lich. That's for a simple reason that a level 5 Lich is far more important than a level 4 Dark Ranger or a level 5 Death Knight at this point. That should be self-explanatory. The Nova is the most important spell in Undead Mirror, hands down, no questions asked. So, Banshees are great because they completely nullify your opponent's Frost Wyrms or Destroyers, or, quite possibly even more important, Nova, which I just described as the most important spell, hands down, in Undead Mirror. Remember that effects like Silence and Sleep, Animator Shell does not block those, but it only blocks damage, so yeah, you block the Nova damage and the Frost Wyrm damage and whatnot, which is unbelievably useful, and you will, of course, see that come into play later. At this point, both players are just kind of wandering around, picking up straggling creeps. I mean, that's really all you can do. Neither of them really has any incentive to fight. I mean, they're just breaking 50 food a little while ago. They're like almost 60 each. What's the point in picking a fight now? So, this is gonna go pretty bad for Fav. He gets, creep jacked, and he's basically backwards in positioning, and he decides to fight this, and I don't really think he should have. He just wasn't really prepared for this fight. Like, all his fiends are out of position, and he doesn't really, I don't know, he just doesn't really get rolling, and he just loses like all of his fiends before eventually, he does chase Ted off, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, if I were him, I would not have liked to fight that. So, anyways, notice how important Silence is here. Silence is stopping the Nova, which is ridiculously good. Remember that, notice how, what's his name? Ted. He killed all the fiends before he went after the Destroyers. That's really important. Destroyers are not nearly as high priority as fiends. And also, notice one thing. See all those skeletons? Notice how they're all dark green and there's no yellow skeletons? Well, that's a pretty important thing. And there's a pretty simple reason for that. The reason is that Fav has Destroyers and Ted does not. That means that Fav can devour skeletons of Ted's, and Ted can't really do shit about Fav's skeletons, and Fav knows it, which is why he was using the shit out of the rod. And he might have had like even 2 or something, but he had a ton of skeletons there. He summoned some from each hero, which can really turn the tide in a fight like that. So, notice earlier I was talking about how the gold mines are very short. Well, they just ran out. For both players, so this would be the time to do hidden secret expansions and whatnot. Ted does not want to fight. Half of his army basically is in his base, so he does the cautious play here and just TPs out immediately, which is very smart. But he does drop the statue, which is very sad. So, moment of silence for the fallen statue. Thank you. That was our moment of silence for the statue. That's right. We have statue in the obituaries. Oh, fuck. It's way too late. I can't be talking. I've been a bit vulgar tonight, haven't I? Yes, that's right. This commentary's only half over, buddy. You better get ready. I've got to... shape up. Come on, Dredrick. Focus here. You got this, baby. Come on, do it for the fans. Okay. Focus. That's right. Now Ted's master plan is pretty much completed. He's got a ground-based Fiend army here with the level 5 Lich of Pure Imbalance and 600 mana. Fav is expanding. He's doing a sneaky expansion down in the bottom left, which is very smart. But at the same time, Ted is scouting around the map with Shades, which is equally smart. Ted is going to do a not-so-hidden expansion. And this is the point in the game which, yeah, you do want to expand in this sort of scenario, but be very cautious. Protect your expansion, especially if you're expanding and he's not. You really have to protect your investment here. That's why it's really good to have Shades kind of bouncing around the map. And I don't think Fav has any Shades left, does he? Let's take a look. I don't see... No, I don't think he has any, except for maybe one in his army. No, he doesn't have any Shades left, so it's not good. Ow! Ow! Alright, so Ted spots the expansion, and he also spots Fav's army. This is pretty important here. Okay, so what you're going to see here is he's backing off because you have to get good positioning here. He's going to go not for the destroyers. Anti-magic shell, by the way, is soaking up all that destroyer damage and all of the Nova damage, but the fiends are still doing damage. What you got to go for the fiends and the ghouls. Pretty much whatever is easier to get to is what you want to be focusing on. This is from Ted's point of view. Just go for what's easier to focus on. Fav has it back out because his army is effectively decimated. Notice these... At the very end, he lost a ghoul and a fiend, and almost had 2 more ghouls, like in the deep red. His army just got abso-freaking-lutely decimated. And Ted is sitting here, and he's like, okay, I've got to deal with this expo, but I've got to protect my own. How can I do this? And so he does something that I chalk up to, once again, genius Gosu insight. So check this out. Fav is thinking, okay, he's probably going to go right for my expo now, so I have to go screw over his and try to protect my own. So, what's he going to do here? He's going to creep this camp out with Dark Ranger's Black Arrow, and all the skeletons that he gets from it, he's going to send over to kill the Acolytes at Fav's expansion, while he takes his own army and races up to save his own, which I personally think is brilliant. In Warcraft, you just got to do a lot of things like this. Like, you have to be very opportunistic. You know, whatever, like, that's what makes the pros so good, is whenever they take their environment into account, and they do whatever they can with whatever tools they have to accomplish what they need to. Something pretty messed up happens here. Notice that the Lich, Fav's Lich, has an invuln pot, and he's actually going to die before he uses it. The game is, in my opinion, very over at this point, but you're going to see that that there's a little bitching about lag, actually. You can't really understand it because his English isn't quite so good, but they do bitch quite a bit, and it's kind of funny. But I don't really feel too bad because Ted had pretty much won this game already. He's totally ended Fav's expansion. All the Acolytes there are dead, but... you know, it's you never want to see a game end with something like that, which kind of sucks. But you know, congrats to Ted, and it's tied 1-1. Christ, survived the second game. Let's get some more orange juice. Wake up for the third. So pause the third game. Same deal. 1 minute mark. Observer point of view. Round 3. Fight. Oh, yes. Let's do it. Game 3. God, I love this series. It's so awesome. Melting Valley. I don't know who is the sadistic bitch that chose this map, but god damn, I hate him. Especially since it was probably Fav. Ha ha ha. Alright, let's do it. 1 minute. Let's start with Fav. Fav is starting off with a ghoul build. He's actually going to go Lich Ghouls this time, thinking that he doesn't want the same thing that happened the last game to happen. If he goes DK, he thinks that there's a good chance that Ted is going to do the same thing as last time, so he better go Lich Ghouls so he doesn't have to play Fiend Mirror with Ted, which, as you saw last game, nobody really wants to do Fiend Mirror with Ted. It's not safe. It's just not healthy to fight Ted and Fiend Mirror. So he's going to go with the Lich Ghouls. Ted, on the other hand, is going to do exactly what Fav does not want him to do and go straight up